Hello, my dear students. How are you feeling? Live safely and positively and hopefully at your home. Now, come on and we shall read the first chapter of Supplementary Reader. The name of the chapter is The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. My dear students, in this story, the writer Saroya has described about a Gyrolanian family. Gyrolanian family is a tribe in Armenia, means an Armenian tribe. And in this story there are two cousins, Murad and Aram. Murad is of 13 years old and Aram is of 9 years old. Centuries ago, this family was very rich and wealthy family. They were living very magnificent and glorious life. But now, at this time, in the story, this family has become the poverty stricken family, means they are suffering the grinding poverty, and these days they are, you can say, hand to mouth. And we shall see that Murad is a crazy boy of his family. He is very intelligent, very practical boy, but also very crazy boy, crazy descendant of his family, of his dynasty. So we are going to read about Murad and Aram. Aram is the younger cousin and Murad is the older or the elder, you can say. One day, very early in the morning, Murad rode the horse to the house of Aram. Aram was sleeping in the bed of his room. Murad came on the horseback near his window and he tapped on the window. Then Aram was wonderful. He was shocked and surprised. When he opened the window, he saw that Murad was sitting on the horseback. Then Aram was amazed to see this beautiful horse and Murad was sitting on his back, because they were too poor to buy the horse. Means they were so poor that they could not purchase the horse. Then Aram was thinking whether he was dreaming of the horse or it was really the horse. He was not relying on his eyes. He thought that his eyes were deceiving him. उसने सोचा कि उसकी आंखें ही उसे धोखा दे रही हैं, क्योंकि उसका भाई जो मुराद है वो सुंदर घोड़े पर बैठा हुआ था खिड़की के सामने. तो वो समझा कि ये कैसे हो सकता है, because they were so poor. Then Murad said to Aram shoutly that he should come very quickly and sit on the horseback behind him. Aram was really longing to ride the horse. That is why he leaped out in his shirt, in his clothes, and also jumped out of the window, and he got onto the horseback behind his cousin Murad. Now they ran the horse across the dry grassland. Then Murad said to Aram to get down from the back of the horse, because Murad wanted to run the horse lonely, because Murad was expert in riding the horse but Aram was not. So he said to Aram to get down from the horseback. Then Aram urged Murad that after him he would also ride the horse lonely. Murad said that it would depend on the horse, but Aram got down and Murad ran the horse across the grassland, and he crossed the irrigation ditch. Across the irrigation ditch, he ran the horse wildly. as fast as the horse could. Then within 5 minutes, Murad came back and gave the horse to Aram. Now Aram got onto the horse back, and also he tried his best to run the horse, but he did not know how to try. Murad helped him and said that kick the horse on its muscle. And when Aram kicked the horse into his muscle, the horse stood up on the rear means hind, pichla, on the rear legs, and he snorted softly, and then he ran away. But this time it did not go toward the irrigation ditch, but it ran down the road toward the vineyard. And when it crossed over the 7 vineyards, Aram fell down from the horseback. Now the horse was running on and on. Murad was looking everything very intently, and he ran after the horse. He was not worried for Aram, but he was worried for the horse, because he wanted the horse should not be seen by anybody, by any people in the light of the day. Then within half an hour, within 30 minutes, Murad came back with the horse, and they took it in a deserted vineyard, and this vineyard was belonging to Fetwazia. Fetwazia was a man who was the master of this vineyard. And Murad and Aram took this horse in the middle of this vineyard, and they tethered it there in the middle of it. And this vineyard was storing some alfalfa, some oats. Then every morning, Murad and Aram both were going to that deserted vineyard, and they were riding the horse every morning. One day, a farmer named John Byro was the master of this horse, and this horse was actually stolen by Murad only for horse riding. On the way, Aram asked Murad when he stole the horse. And this family, Garolinian family, was very much famous for its honesty and truth. So Aram was not happy to see this horse, because he thought that the horse was stolen by Murad, and it was a blame to his family. But Murad had not really stolen it. He had taken it only from the house of John Byro, from the vineyard of John Byro, only for horse riding, because he was loving horse riding crazily. क्योंकि मुराद जो है हॉर्स राइडिंग बहुत ही उसको पसंद था, और बहुत क्रेजी बॉय था। इस नाते उसने जो है हॉर्स को चुराया था, लेकिन बेचने के लिए नहीं, केवल हॉर्स राइडिंग के लिए शौकिया। तो मुराद did not care it, because he had not really stolen it. And one day John Byro came to the house of Aram, and Aram's and Murad's uncle was Khusro. Khusro was really the craziest person of his dynasty. So Khusro was really sipping the coffee, and he was also smoking the cigarette, and he was very crazy person. Everybody, when anybody was saying anything to him, he was saying, it's no harm, pay no attention to him. It was his refraining sentence. ये उसकी तकिया कलाम भाषा थी। किसकी? अंकल खुसरो की। कोई भी आदमी कुछ कहता था तो कहते थे कोई बात नहीं, पे नो अटेंशन टू इट, इस पर कोई ध्यान मत दीजिए। और इस प्रकार से जॉन बायरो ने कहा, जॉन बायरो said to them that his horse was stolen a month ago and he was very much worried. Then Khusro said, pay no attention to it. It's no harm. John Barrow discussed or gave many arguments that he had come there for 60 miles distance, and he had purchased it worth $60. But Khosrow shouted at him, pay no attention to him. Then John Barrow went from there. And one day when Murad and Aram both were going early in the morning to the vineyard of Fetwajian for horse riding, so John Barrow was also coming from there, and when he saw the horse in the hands of Murad, the Murad really greeted him, saluted him. John Barrow said that this horse was his horse, but John Barrow was very much well known to the family of Murad and Aram. He also knew that this family was very popular, very famous for honesty and truth. So he could not said clearly that this horse was his, but he said that this horse was the twin of his horse. On the next day in the morning, Murad took this horse and tied it to the stump in the vineyard of John Barrow, because John Barrow was the master of this horse, the owner of this horse. On the next day, John Barrow came in the sari का मतलब होता है इक्का तांगा. The John Barrow came in the sari of his to the house of Aram, and then he said that he got his horse back, and he was happy because the horse was rather more stronger and more hefty, and his temperament was also better than earlier. And in this story there are two examples, two incidents, as a message to you, my dear students. Number one, once Murad was covering a bird, robin bird, and he flew 3 times in the sky, and this bird was trying to fly. The bird was hurt, and it was trying to fly in the sky first time, second time, and at the third time it flew into the sky. This is a message to you that if you try again and again, you can do anything and you can be successful in your work, in your job. My dear students, this is the summary of this chapter, and we shall discuss on the question answer of this lesson in the second video. Thank you very much.